Hi, my name is Jeremy Hight. My first word is canyon. In politics, there's a gap, a separation between the sides, the poles that's gotten wider and wider. Part of it is the algorithms of sites like Facebook, but it's angry and violent. In the future, we need to reduce that canyon and find more of the middle. And also, in the natural sublime, nature can be wonderful. Nature can be so beautiful and overwhelming, not just in a dangerous or powerful storm, but that it can almost be too much to bear. But we must remember the beauty of nature, especially as technology progresses in our society. And also the erasure of the middle class needs to be something that's more readily addressed, because that's another form of canyon. My next word is Zoom, not the one that we're all sick of doing, especially the professors out there, including myself, but the positives of it, the sense of community, the sense of the collapsing of miles and distance. How many conferences have been possible for anyone to join because they're not tied to a certain city? What is it about the ability to check in on your students at the end of a lecture and see how they're doing on a Zoom? That's something that should be continued as we go back to, quote, normal. And then the other more general definition of Zoom, the camera can zoom in and zoom out. There needs to be the sense of the global village, more of the consideration that we're all in this together, as we have been for the last couple of years and as we will be in the future. My next word is aware. With the advent of soft robotics, so you can have a robot that has soft parts like a silica gel. You can imagine in the ocean, you have a school of dolphins, you have a group of whales, you have a school of fish, and they're traversing the ocean and they're being accepted, and they're tracking the migration patterns as they shift, as global warming is hitting the water harder than the air, which doesn't get as much attention as it should. We can track their changing migration patterns. We can also be aware of how the waters themselves are changing. How are the chemical values changing as they get warmer? What can we do to try and mitigate this more? It can function like the way that meteorology has only certain locations into a grid. And in terms of trees, here in California, the fires have been much worse because so many trees are dead. If you have something that looks like a tree and feels like a tree, biomimetics is, in a general sense, the idea of mimicking the functions and structures of biology. One of the most obvious examples is there's a cell phone that you can hold that it has basically suction cups on a nanoscale almost. But how do you look at things in terms of the functions of nature to now use technology to better assist nature? This is increasingly crucial in the future. Last two, self-care. In the pandemic, and as we exit the pandemic, and as we go into the uncertain futures from here, self-care is increasingly crucial for a better future for individuals and groups. What do you do for self-preservation? What do you do for a sense of balance in chaos? The last word is create, but not in the obvious way. How have you created a space for yourself in these uncertain times? How do you create a sense of escape? At night, especially during the pandemic, I often have a daydream where I imagine that I'm off on a sort of space arc to another world, and it sounds really dark, but it's actually really pleasing. And I imagine hearing the hum of an air conditioner and knowing that I'm in a community going somewhere else to start something new. And I don't want that to be where the world is going to go, but it's a sense of escape. How can you find a space for yourself that you create that makes things better for you?